All right. So our main speaker this morning is Bryant Davis. Bryant, could you give us a little bit of a background of your coaching career and how you got to where you're at right now? And then I'd like to really hear about, really quickly what you're doing with your athletes to keep them engaged in this really, unorthodox time that we're in.
Yeah. Patrick, thanks for having me, and thanks for Sideline Power and Coaches Insider for this opportunity. I knew I wanted to coach in the 8th grade. And kind of pursued that and thought I was going to be college for a little bit, and then felt the calling in my life that I was supposed to coach high school football, and started off coaching 7th and 8th grade football in Bentonville, Arkansas, where I got to know Bill's son Aaron, who's a great dude and a fantastic coach. And so kind of worked my way up in Bentonville and then got the offensive line job at Fayetteville High School the first time around. Went to Springdale High School for 4 years, and then just got hired back this last May, about a year ago, with Coach Casey Dick back at Fayetteville. So that's a little bit about my background. I'm an O-line guy at heart. I know you guys could probably tell that from my picture, but I'm an O-line guy at heart. That's my specialty, and I'm the offensive coordinator now, but my heart lies with those guys down in the trenches. This is such a tough and weird situation we're in. One of the things that we stress with our kids right now and our staff right now is that we are making sure we are contacting our kids individually, as at least once or twice a week through FaceTime. And then we're trying to vary the way we do instruction with our guys. We'll make videos and post them to Huddle into our Google Classroom that they can refer back to. Then we try to have 1 or 2 Zoom meetings a week where we're trying to install some stuff, but also see faces and make sure everybody's doing all right. And we try to vary the instruction using some other technological tools like Kahoot and some other quizzes and programs like that, just to try to keep our kids involved. So we're doing our best. I think you're muted, Patrick. I can't hear you. Sorry.
Us this morning, and appreciate you taking the time. So why don't you go into what you're going to cover, and then start talking ball.
Cool. Let me share my screen here. I'm going to be talking about what I think is the best play in football, the wide zone. And I'm going to give you some broad strokes here about, how we coach the offensive line, how we coach the running backs, how we coach the quarterbacks. And I think this play has really been our best run play over the last 3 or 4, 5 years, and it's been our most efficient run play. My contact information is up on the screen. If you would like a copy of this presentation, I know on Zoom sometimes this video is kind of choppy, but if you would like some of this information, feel free to DM me on Twitter. Feel free to reach out to me. My cell phone's number is up on the screen, and also you can email me. And if you want some more information, I'll be happy to zoom in with you and give you some more information on the wide zone. And I'm going to get right into it, if that's all right, and just kind of talk to you about why we do what we do. Let me go to the next clip here. Here we go. Our staff, our head coach and quarterbacks coach is Casey Dick. Yes, the Casey Dick who gained notoriety for handing the ball off to Darren McFadden and Felix Jones. Give him a hard time because he's a quarterback famous for throwing a block. So that's our head football coach. Does a great job. Scott Downport's our offensive line coach. Ed Duncan's our running backs coach, and Justin Jordan's our outside receivers coach. I can get you their information very quickly if you want to talk ball with them. Let's keep going here. Okay. So, what is the wide zone? Okay, this is our definition, our long definition of this play is that it's a run play designed to stretch the defensive front through lateral displacement. And some of you guys on your team have been, Coach, what's lateral displacement? Well, it's getting the defenders move to the sideline with violence and physicality and speed. And the whole point of this play is to expand areas of run. You know, those defensive coordinators have formations drawn up each week and have those lines for each gap responsibility. We're not necessarily trying to eliminate those gap responsibilities. We're really trying to expand those areas to create running lanes. You know, Alex Gibbs is the godfather of this play. This is who I learned this play from. This play has really grown in the way that it's been coached and taught over the last, I guess, 20 years or so. And I give him credit because I think he's awesome. Okay. So I put this picture up on the wall every year when we start installing the wide zone, because the wide zone is essentially two parts. It's about lateral, horizontal displacement on the front side, excuse me, and building a wall on the backside. Our guys really like this pool because it really is the play in a nutshell. Come on. Here we go. All right. So why don't we run the wide zone briefly? I'm going to go over our 30 seconds of philosophy, and I'm going to get into how we coach it. I've run this play with fantastic personnel who've played Division I football, and I've run this play with guys who probably would have trouble starting somewhere else in our conference, and it's been very effective for us. Especially you guys who don't have a bunch of road graders up front, and you got more of the more, I'll say, athletic build. This is a good run game for you guys, and we've had a lot of success with it. It's by far our most efficient run. I run it out of every formation and every personnel grouping imaginable. I run it out of empty personnel, and I run it out of unbalanced 32 personnel. It's a very versatile play. The other reason I like this play is we have very few negative plays. We don't get tackled for loss many times on this play. We are back to 2nd and 10 or 9 when we run this play, worst case scenario. And you offensive play callers know there's a big difference between 2nd and 9 on your call sheet than 2nd and 14 on your call sheet. We love this play because of practice efficiency, especially up front. I'm an O-line guy, and I know it's, that endo time in practice is at a premium. Sometimes those quarterback coaches who are coordinators like to say, "Oh, you guys only need 10 minutes of endo." Well, that stresses me out. I don't know about you guys, but you can practice this play very, very quickly. In practice, you can get a lot of reps in it because everybody's doing the same thing and using the same fundamentals. You can go really fast. And something that we really like too are these easy checks and audibles. I won't have a lot of time to get into that. If you want to message me or get with me, I'll talk to you. How easy it is to change this play at the line of scrimmage to get the best matchup possible. In the age of RPO, and we're an RPO system, sometimes you just want to hand the ball off, and we really feel strongly that wide zone is that play for us. Okay. All right. So we don't use the term stretch. We don't use the term outside zone. My offensive line coach, Scott Davenport, gets frustrated with me sometimes because we do run the inside zone. And he goes, "Well, if we have the inside zone, why don't we call it the outside zone?" Well, because I want our mentality up front and with our backs especially, is we don't want those guys thinking this ball is going to hit outside. It's going to hit wide. It has the chance of going outside, but there is a real good chance it's going to cut back, and we want them to read their keys and not think that it's some sort of stretch play. We have a great camaraderie within our conference, and I talk to a lot of the defensive coordinators, and they come up to me and say, "Hey, coach, you're doing a really good job running that stretch play." Well, in my mind, I say thank you, but in my mind, I'm thinking, I hope you guys still fit it like stretch the next time we play you, because that opens up a lot of running lanes for us. All right. Okay. So I'm going to get into teaching how we coach the offensive line on the front side of the play. And then I'm going to get into the back side of the play and then quickly go into running back to quarterbacks and then get into some film, because I know that's what you guys are here for. I want to give credit to LaCharles Bentley. We use his drive catch technique, and that's what we harp on. His website, LB Online Performance, for you offensive line guys, I think he's onto something really, really big there. And we talk about force through the ground, the term he uses about driving off the opposite foot of where we're going. We try not to say step or bucket step. I used to be that guy when I was coaching this play, but I really just talk about drive catching to your aiming points, and really the big thing is aiming points for us. That is what we emphasize, and as the kids coach themselves up on this play is what you want to have happen. We talk about straight lines. They understand that they've got to get to their aiming point. So we emphasize straight lines on this play, even though it's going wide. Soft hips kill this play. That's why we don't teach a bucket step anymore. We get too much rotation with our hips. Soft hips kill the play, and so it's like a big backup on the highway. Once one guy gets crushed down, it's kind of like a bad accordion technique. We really want to stay strong. We talk about feet taking you to the aiming point. We don't use boards. I used to be a boards guy. We rarely work with them anymore, especially on this play, because getting to your aiming point for each of your linemen is different. A couple years ago, and I'm not kidding, my left tackle was 6'6", and my left guard was 5'8". Okay, so how they get to their aiming point is biomechanically different than each other. And so what we try to do is, and when we drill this play, is to make it as realistic to a game scenario as possible. And that's one of the reasons we can practice efficiently, is we don't use a lot of equipment. And the last thing we tell our linemen is block the angle you find them on. This play we're not designed to down block anybody. We're designed to widen run fits. So if he's trying to go outside, just can block him outside. And we say aiming points. We emphasize straight lines, and you'll hear us say in our meetings and on film, hey, block the angle you find them on. See if I can get to this next one. Come on. There we go. So we're going to talk about the front side of the play and lateral displacement. What's great about the wide zone is you're using defensive coaching points against the defender. If you go to a 5 technique defensive end, and every defensive line coach has probably yelled at them their entire time playing football, is what do they tell them? Don't get hooked, right? Well, we are fine with that. We don't want you to get hooked all the way to our water bucket. That's fine. We want you guys. We want the defender to commit to outside contain. That's fine with us, because we're going to block the angle you find them on and stretch them to the sideline. I'm going to talk to you about our aiming points for our solo blocks, and then talk about our aiming points for our combination blocks, and then talk to you about how we drill these. Okay, so our solo blocks, if we're blocking a guy by ourselves, our aiming points are obviously a big topic of what we discuss early with our kids. The very first block we teach is the solo block. The aiming points for this is our head wants to be on the play side of the play side nipple. Our play side arm, if we're running wide zone to the right, our play side arm needs to be at the tip of the shoulder pad. And really what's the difference, the big difference between a combo block and a solo block is what we do with this backside arm. When I first started teaching this play, we tried to take this backside arm and club the defensive lineman's hip. And really it was to make sure that guy couldn't fall back in on the play. Well, what I quickly began to understand is that's not a realistic expectation for success. We're trying to stop a full-grown human being with one arm. So after doing some research, we take that arm to fit on the backside chest plate, on the underside of that backside chest plate. And really, that fit is so we can follow the block and maintain the block. If that guy, defensive lineman, tries to cross our face, we can maintain the block much better. We're not worried about keeping him outside. We're just worried about staying on the block. Because by designing the play, if that defensive lineman goes inside, we're going outside. So that's how we teach a solo block. there we go. So there we go. So our combo block, our head and our place that arm are essentially in the same position. What we tell our guys is the big difference between a combo block and a solo block is that you have help. You have help on the inside, so you can be more down the midline. The big difference is our backside arm. We're going to punch and grab the midline, and we tell them punch them in the belly button. And our aiming point's belly button to chest plate. And we put our hand down here because we like it helps us finish our block and torque. When we see a guy that's committed to outside contain, we're really going to push pull with our arms and try to torque this guy to the sideline. And also, it helps us get to our aiming points. If one of our guys is having trouble getting to this place side armpit and via the neck, we tell them, hey, get your backside arm to the midline, because if you can get that backside arm to the midline, you're going to be in the correct aiming point. All right, and let's talk about this is the lead guy in the combo. Let's talk about the trail guy in the combo. I get this thing to work. Here we go. Come on. All right. So if you're the trail guy in the combo, our aiming point's to screw the helmet. And the reason we some guys say face mask, some guys say via the neck. That's all fine. And the reason we aim here is because it gets us on track for anything this defensive lineman's going to do. If he spikes in, which we'll talk about in a second, if he spikes in, we've already got outside leverage to pin his outside shoulder. If he tries to play out, it's going to get us on the correct path to block a flowing linebacker. So the aiming points, if you're the inside guy in the combo, are the screws of the helmet. All right, so we have three types of combos we block every single day. And it doesn't matter if you have a center and a tackle comboing together, two guards, a tackle and a center. It doesn't matter because you're all using the same techniques. And so when we drill these, we work three types of combo. We call it the out, the in, and the middling. And these are explained in these diagrams if I can get this thing going. All right, good. So the out is when the defensive lineman commits to outside contain. One note about linebacker play here, because of the speed of the play with the offensive line and the back's path, what it forces the linebacker to do is to make a decision at the snap about how he's going to defend this play. And after about 7 or 8 years of running this play, I've discovered two ways that they try to defend this play. If they walk up, we treat them like a defensive lineman. One is that they try to scrape over the top and try to and think that it's some sort of stretch play. The other thing that they try to do is fill it downhill. So we really drill this linebacker to do a couple of different things. The trail guy in the combo is going to aim for the face mask over here for the screws of the helmet. If he can't get to him after 3 steps, he's going to climb square to the backer. We preach square wins. Okay. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of turn because we're trying to get to our aiming points, but we want to own the angle and have strong hips. The lead man, after he sees that this defensive lineman is declared, is going to run and torque to the sideline. So that's the out. And so really it looks like 2 solo blocks because that tackle's going to, or whoever this outside guy in the combo is going to run out, get to his aiming point, torque the guy to the sideline. We're going to climb up right now to the backer. The next one is the end. If I can get the pull up, there we go. The next combo is the end. This is one of the reasons, or one of the ways the defensive coordinators try to stop this play is to get penetration, and it's a good thought. But what we try to do is take a good angle by this trail guy, who, remember, his aiming point's the screws of the helmet. If that helmet comes inside, we've already got that outside shoulder leveraged, and we can just pin him inside. We don't want to give up a lot of ground on this, but it doesn't have to be a devastating block. It's about covering this guy up, because the design of the play, if the defensive lineman goes in, we're going out. The trail man overtakes, and the lead man is just going to shove down with that inside arm now instead of punching to the midline. He's just going to shove down with his backside arm so he can stay square and climb up to the linebacker. All right. And then the next one that takes a little bit more work, if I can get it going here. Oh, there we go. Oh. There we go. Is something we call the middling. This is when the defensive lineman is trying to have it both ways. Okay, he's trying to have his cake and eat it too. He's going to fit on this drive catch by the outside guy down the middle of the defense of our offensive lineman, and he's going to try to fit it and then shove the offensive lineman one way or the other, throw him off so he can fold in and make the play. But we tell this is a little bit different because now we're trying to define the hole for the back. This is a very key point here, defining the hole for the back. If the trail man can touch the defensive lineman but not overtake it, he's going to violently shove out with his play side arm. I've used arms, I've used shoulder pads. The key point here is staying square. We don't want to turn our shoulders so we can maintain a good track for this linebacker. We still want to stay square. And once this lead man feels that shove, he's immediately going to torque and run the defense to the sideline. And essentially, we are forcing the running back to make the choice of cutting this ball back. And so that's how we block the middling combo. All right. So the backside technique is building a wall. And there's tools in the tool belt. And essentially, it's gap responsibility on the back. On the backside, we've used a lot of different techniques, and we've experimented with some things. We've used a cross cutoff, which is, if you think about like a skip pull to the backside, we've used a straight arm technique where one offensive lineman is going to shove out with his backside arm and hold that position until the adjacent offensive lineman comes flat and literally knocks him off that combo so he can go up to the linebacker. We've used fold techniques. We've used the H-back and the fullback. My advice to you, and I'll show you some of these clips in just a second, my advice to you is experiment and find out what works best for you guys and your personnel. But there are some basic rules. Some basic rules for our cutoff technique. The depth, what's key for me in coaching our kids is the depth of this block, how deep it happens in the backfield doesn't matter to us. It really can happen anywhere. The big coaching point is getting between the defender and the football. If you have a defensive lineman who gets 2 yards of penetration but still is cut off from the cutback, that's great. We also teach our guys that if the defensive lineman takes a flatter pursuit angle and we can't cut them off, we wash them flat. We wash them flat down the line of scrimmage. And essentially, it's just backside gap responsibilities. If you're going to install this play, I highly recommend that you have answers for flat backside pursuit, whether those are your naked bootleg game, your split flows, your reverses and end arounds, maybe reading the defensive end. However you can slow down that backside pursuit is really what you have to game plan. We teach pride. We really try to teach our guys to have pride in the backside cutoff, because when you do, you get these big big running lanes. We've got stretch to the left here. Okay, we've got a cutoff on the backside, and simply because of the action of the play, and because we build a wall on the backside, we're creating these big running lanes. These cutoff blocks, these backside blocks, are really what makes these plays explosive. So we take a lot of time to teach it and have pride in it. And we want to be excellent at building the wall on the backside. All right, I'm going to go briefly into the running backs, and I'm going to get into some clips. So our aiming points for the running back is the outside cheek of the tight end, real or imaginary. Some guys say a yard outside the tight end. Some guys say the butt crack of the tight end. I think those aiming points are fine. I wouldn't go much wider or much narrower than those. From the pistol or from the gun or from under center, we talk to our running backs about popping their feet, and essentially their play side foot and their backside foot are going to pop and get to their aiming points. They're going to they're not going to take a step. They're going to pop their feet and get on path, and they're going to get on track and get downhill. And they get on track and get downhill is one of the reasons why we don't have very many negative plays. And once again, if the path of the back forces the linebackers to have to make the decision at the snap of how they're going to defend it. Our base alignment from the pistol or under center is the running back seals at 7 yards from the ball. And if you may have to adjust your depth of your running back depending on the player's speed. If he's faster, back him up. If he's a little bit slower, scoot him up a couple of steps and just kind of play around with that, just depending on the personnel you've got back there. Cool. We'll talk about our running back reads. Our running back's read is the end man on the line of scrimmage, and he's going to read for his first 3 steps. And he's going to read if he's got green grass, which means we've hooked or leveraged the defensive lineman, he's going to continue on to green grass. If that end man on the line of scrimmage has us contained, he's fighting to maintain outside contain. His eyes will go back. The running back's eyes will go to the next down defensive lineman. He's going to see where that's going to cut back. Okay. So his second read is the down lineman. His decision is made on his 3rd step, and his cut is made on the 6th step. Here's what's going to happen when you first install this play. The first time your running back cuts it back for a big gain, he's going to try to do it probably over and over again. That is not good for the play, because if his path and discipline aren't good, he can get run down from behind, and there's not good lateral displacement because the linebackers aren't flowing as well. So we always say his path and cut discipline are crucial because it sets up his blockers. If he's too early, there won't be horizontal displacement. He can get run down from behind. We tell him to commit to the decision. Once you commit, you get downhill and be physical. And don't your goal on a broken play is to get back to the line of scrimmage. And we've had a lot of success keeping negative runs out of this concept because of this coaching point. All right. I'm going to talk briefly just a second about the quarterbacks, and I've got some clips to show you. The quarterback's responsibility is to open at 4 or 6 o'clock, and that's from the pistol or under center. And his job is to get the ball to the belly of the running back. What's the key responsibility of the quarterback is to boot out every play at full speed. And we say head, hands, and eyes. The head, the hand, and the eyes are going to follow the back for a count to make sure that it looks the same as naked or play action. And we want it to look the same whenever we try to have a different concept off this wide zone. He boots out every play at full speed for a couple reasons. One, he may hold the backside pursuit player because of the boot action. Or the other reason is he can tell us what that backside guy is doing and give us some real-time feedback. And every time you run this play, the quarterback needs to be able to tell you what that backside pursuit guy was doing. Okay. All right, let's get into some film. I know that's what you guys are here for, if I can get this thing to work. Okay. Come on. Here we go. Is it? Okay. Let's go to the next angle here. All right, so this is wide zone out of nub trips. Okay. I'm having trouble on my controls here. That's really slow. Let's go back here. Hold on just a second. No, that's not going to work. All right, I'm not going to fight this. I'm going to share a different screen with you guys. And I know it'll be a little bit more choppy, and I apologize for that. And I can send you this clip, send you these clips if you so desire. Let me get here. So we're running wide zone to the left in nub trips formation. So this is a good example of a solo block here. If you can see our tackle taking off here, he's getting to his aiming point. very getting to his aiming point. This defensive lineman actually lets go and tries to pursue outside. So we kind of let go and then re-engage, which is fine. Other thing I want you to look at is look at this linebacker right here. Look at his pursuit angle. This is definitely a scrape technique. Okay, and we don't even block that guy. He just runs himself out of the play. The other thing I want you to look at, and this goalpost is kind of in the way, is this combo between the center and the left guard. This is our backup center, and our backup left guard, excuse me. And what I love about this is our center's trying to get to his aiming point, which is the face mask, and he's literally going to shove the left guard off to get to where he's supposed to be. Looking at this backside cross cutoff technique, this is the skip pull technique, the cross cutoff technique. The guard, this linebacker is what we say is called minus. He's away from the play, so we got time to be a little heavier on this combo. So I would have liked our guard to be a little heavier. Our tackle, it does a great job of getting depth and crossing this defensive lineman's face. Look how much depth he gets, and he's crossing right here. As you can see that guy crossing his face, and he's actually crossing him quickly enough where he can start to climb up to the linebacker or to the safety, excuse me.
Hey,
Yeah.
Coach, there's some people that are having issues seeing your screen. Can you try to stop sharing and then sharing again?
Yeah.
That can fit. That could work. We got other people that are saying they can see it. Just let us know. Try it again.
Okay. Let me share my screen again. Uh-oh, what did I just do?
Uh-oh.
Oh, we're good. All right. Share screen. How's that look?
Let us know, guys. Looks good to me. Yes, good.
Okay.
All right, let's roll.
All right. So what I want to show you about this play is because of the action of the back, and because we get a good cutoff technique, we've got a big running lane here. So this is out of 11 personnel nub trips look. I'm going to go back to, this is a 12 personnel look. We're going to bring this tight end in motion. What I want you to look at here is this down tight end and the tackle are going to work a middling technique. And so this defensive line is trying to fit us and have it both ways. And so our tackle does a good job of shoving out, but his left arm is turned, so he's not square. His combo is supposed to be to this safety. But because he gets his shoulders turned, he gets discombobulated, and we don't get this guy picked up. Would have been a much bigger gain. And so there's the shove, and there's the run out. So a little one back again, shove by the tackle, and that tight end takes leverage to the sideline, torques and runs him to the sideline. One more time. There's the shove right there, using that momentum to take him to the sideline. Let's look at this is going to be an in combo. This 3 technique spikes inside. And so our guard gets his backside arm and does a good job staying square, but his backside arm's kind of weak. We'd like it to be a little bit more firm. Okay. But he does a good job being able to climb up to the linebacker. Notice that play side linebacker is coming downhill instead of trying to scrape over the top. So he's in a great position to pick him up. The center doesn't get to his aiming point, right? One of the things we drill is, what do we do if we're not at our aiming point? How do we get there? And so one of the things that we work on is a push-pull technique, and we push and pull and then put our head on the other side to our aiming point. And he does that here. I'll show that again. Pop, gets that guy turned. So the read from the running back's position here is that the hole is defined inside because we've shoved out. So the next down lineman, which is this guy who went inside, and know he's going to stay in this B gap area, B C gap area to make his cut. The backside technique here is something we call a straight arm technique. That once again, this linebacker is minus. He's away from the play. If he was more towards the play, we'd have to quick call this and get up to, and cut this off more quickly. So because he's minus, the guard can stay on this combo a little bit longer, and the backside tackle's running flat to knock him off. Tackle does a decent job. I wish he would have taken that left arm and just ripped across his face. We teach it like a box out block. or a box out in basketball. Put your butt on his belly.
What are your splits, Coach?
2 feet, and that's our base rule. We'll adjust them depending on the front, but the base is 2 feet. Here, our wide, we're going to run the same play. We're going to run it to a quick overload set. I want you to watch number 15, this tight end. He does not get to his aiming point, but he does get horizontal displacement. Okay, that defensive end right there is committed to outside contain. So he blocks the angle he finds him on. Okay, and I'm gonna go to this shot. So this would be an out combo here with this tackle and tight end. This guy goes out. This tackle right here will not be able to get him by his third step, so he's going to climb square. This linebacker is going to fill downhill. Speed it up a little bit. Sorry. 1, 2, 3, climb. And he's able to pin that linebacker inside. Now can't get there, climb. One more time. 3 steps by this tackle. 1, 2, 3. And gets him pinned inside. This combo block here between the center guard is really good. I would have liked our left guard to get to his aiming point a little bit quicker. Okay. He gets there, just not real fast, but he's able to maintain that block. And the reason I'm showing you this play, the team we're playing right here was much bigger and much more athletic than we were in the offensive line. And so we were able to run the football pretty effectively because of this play, because we're not trying to muscle people. We're not trying to run inside zone and get this big. I think this dude was 315 pounds. We're not trying to get that guy move vertically. We're using his coaching points to expand laterally. Okay. So this is a good shove out technique by the center. Shove that guy out, climb up, running back stays on path, and a nice play here. I'm going to pull you. This one takes a while because we froze check it, but we're going to bring this full back in motion. This is out of 20 personnel. We're going to run wide zone back into the boundary. The defensive end, the back sees the defensive end trying to commit outside. So his aiming point is the next defensive lineman inside. Our guard here gets turned and doesn't stretch enough, but our center does a really good job of getting that lateral displacement. And so now we get a big cutback for a big play. Let me get back to the beginning here. Like I would have liked our guard to get wider. That's more of an inside zone path. We would have liked a drive catch to our aiming points. One of the things we talk about is if this dude's lined up inside you on a combo, really we got to be conscious. Your aiming point's not as wide. You're already at your aiming point. You can get a little bit more vertically up the field. And hopefully we shove down and let the inside guy take over. Okay. Other thing I want to show you about this clip is this backside combination. This is a straight arm technique. And I want you to watch this tackle knock the guard off up to the backer. Boom, right there. He physically knocks our guy's hip off that combo. He takes over and is able to climb. I wish the tackle would have done a little bit better job maintaining that block just by running his feet a little bit more. But knocked that him off, and we've built a wall on the backside, and now we've created a good running lane. Okay, here's the big clip I want to show you. That offensive line I just showed you, we made it to the state championship that year. We were pretty good up front. These guys, I love them to death, but they are definitely great human beings. But about 3 or 4 of these dudes on our starting offensive line probably wouldn't have played anywhere else. We're running wide zone out of 10 personnel. And number 24 right here, for Bentonville West, was a really good football player, Division I signee. Our right guard, who's going to be responsible for blocking him, was not a Division I athlete. And so the reason I believe so much in this play is because of the action, because of our rules, it allows you to be successful with the talent that you have. We're going to go cross face here out of the gun, running wide zone to the right. And I want you to look to see how, because of his expanded run fit, how it opens up the run. Here. All right. He is committed to outside contain. He's running out. Our offensive lineman, who's not nearly as good an athlete, because of the path that he's on, is able to get a piece of him, and we're able to get up to the second level because of the run. Okay. Good head placement by our tackle. And that linebacker flows out because of the action. We've created a running lane without having to have a devastating block on the second level. Okay. This technique here, one couple of things. Not great by this guy was a sophomore, not great technique here. What I want you to work, he needs to get to his aiming point. What I want you to look at here is this combo between the guard and the center. This is an out combo. Defensive lineman goes out, linebacker comes down and fills it quick. We're able to cover him up and get horizontal displacement. So if you look at where the linebacker starts and where he finishes, that's horizontal displacement. The last thing I want to show you here on this backside cutoff technique by our right tackle, this defensive lineman does a good job of going flat and pursuing flat. We can't cut him off, so we just shove him down. Take a look here. He goes flat, and we just shove him down past the hole. Okay, and open up that backside run lane. I'll show that to you one more time. Right here, this tackle. Can't cut him off. Shove him down inside. Let's get up to the backer. Would have been ideal for this play is if our backside tight end would have cross cut off and gone up to the safety. He told me after the game when we were watching film, he thought this guy was trying to come inside, so he's trying to leverage. But he really could have climbed up there, and now we would have been cooking gas. Okay, here's in personnel run. This is wide zone out of 10 personnel. What I want to show you here is this is a great in combo, and tell you the point of taking that aiming point to the face mask to the screws by this inside guy is it is able to leverage this defensive lineman if he slants. Defensive lineman slants inside. Because the angle he took, our center's able to pin this inside shoulder, and our guard has an easy climb up to the Mike linebacker. Okay, tackle needs to do a better job once again of getting to his aiming point, but he gets horizontal displacement. This is a good example. This is that same left tackle got better as the year went on. I want you to watch the horizontal displacement that takes place with this defensive end right here. Okay, run all the way out to the sideline. Okay, that's great. We don't move him up the field much at all. Okay, what we do is get that horizontal lateral displacement to create leverage there and widen our run fits. Here's another example. Here's an example of a backside fold technique. We're going to go here. I gave him the option this week of making this call. Probably in hindsight, I would have told him not to on this one because this linebacker's plussed over to the play. So it's tougher to maintain this, but we do have it. If number 33 was back over here, it would have been really probably a much better technique to use. But I want to show it to you anyway to show we had it in. Out block, quick up. We use the fold technique if we really feel like this guy's moving a lot, that we wouldn't be able to get him cut off. And just a different look for the inside linebackers as well who sees it. Good horizontal displacement. There's that tackle all the way out there. It's good stuff. Okay. Here's a bounce read. Our tailback is not a very good path here, but here's the end man on the line of scrimmage. He goes inside, so now we've got green grass. We're going to run to green grass, and we filtered everything back. Now we're hat for a hat. Okay. Once again, over here, want to show you the combo, the lateral displacement we get on this defensive end with our tackle and guard here. I mean, we're all the way out to the numbers, past the numbers on that displacement. A good 10-yard gain there on first down. Once again, this is a 12 personnel set that's made to look like 11 personnel. We bring him in motion. We're going to run wide zone to the right. Our right guard shoves out, kind of gets that shoulder turn, but he gets back square to get this block. Linebacker fits downhill. The running back sees that he's got leverage to the outside. We've got him leveraged, and he just continues on to green grass out to the sideline. Here's another clip for you. I want to show you the good path of the guard here. He gets to the face mask and overtakes the play. Overtakes, we climb up to the backer, another solid gain. Okay. This is just a couple of ways we disguise this play. We were in tricks earlier. We just jumped the tight end over to overload the set. We box counted the run and able to out leverage some people without changing our rules for a big game. Okay, so some of you guys may be wondering, how do we constrain this play? How do we account for backside? Well, what we do is we can count our combos back. So if we're getting a lot of backside pursuit here, we're running wide zone to the right. If we get backside pursuit, we can fan, and we can take this fullback and lead him up on this play side backer. A lot of teams in the NFL are doing this. 49ers, the Titans were doing this a bunch, and it was like a clinic watching it each week. But this tackle is going to go out on a solo, stretching it. We're going to count our combos back. And now essentially we're going to get this linebacker to flow out, and we're going to insert. So like wide zone insert, or even an ISO play with wide zone action. So this guy flies out. We get an inside kick out. And so a big opening there. The back's path is exactly like wide zone. I don't know how much time I have left. I can keep on going. One of the things that you got to have is for us is naked passing game. This is our split flow flood concept, just as a constraint on this play. He's going to split flow to the flat. We've got a 12 to 14 yard out here and a go here. But because of the action, it gets these linebackers to flow, because they've got to make a decision at the snap, and we're able to leverage the defense pretty quickly, dump it out there for a good 10, 12 yard gain.
5 minutes, coach.
Okay. Here's another one. This is a split flow naked. We'd run it strong. And so he's going to split flow flat. We got to come back over here in a honey hole over here. One thing about this clip, I would not advise your quarterback to boot into edge pressure. That's usually not good. But because we had run it so effectively, they pursued the ball a little bit. Because they're pursuing the ball, it opens up the honey hole here for down the field. All right. Once again, now we're going to run this same play into the boundary. Once again, I probably wouldn't boot into edge pressure, but we're able to get them flanked here. This is an easy, about a 5 yard completion that turns into 18 or 20, because we've got pursuing linebackers and safeties on the run play. I've run this out of a heavy set. This is an overload set. This is a tight end, but it looks like the backside tackle. We're going to split flow out to the flat off of this wide zone action. We got a honey hole over here. This is an easy first down call. We had run wide zone out of the set earlier in the game. We'd like a better call there, or a better throw there to get and run. But that's just a first down, gain of 7. Keep the defense honest on their backside pursuit. This one is, if you don't have a real good tight end who's a pass threat, what we like to do is put tight end to the boundary and make a switch call where this tight end goes vertically, which I don't think he does on this play, but he's supposed to go vertically. And now our outside receiver is going to run that honey hole. If you're detached and we're booting to you, we're going to run a whip out and a comeback. But we're able, because the safety's involved in watching the tight end, we're able to out leverage them on the boot. More things. This is a 21 personnel set. We motioned our outside receiver in, and he's going to be the split flow into the flat. So a lot of things going on, gets lost in translation over here. Easy pitch and catch for about 12, 15 yards. Okay. All right. We can boot back away from the tight end. The reason we like this boot is it puts this outside linebacker into a lot of conflict. He's getting run away, so he's going to squeeze. And so we run a whip. And because of his run pass conflict here, we're able to make it an easy throw, easy catch, and get a first down. One other thing, and this is kind of what I'm going to end on today, is it's always good to have, if you're running wide zone out of your favorite set, is we always have a reverse or an end around game planned, just to keep that backside honest in its pursuit. So this is a 10. We ran it on the first down, easy, or second down, easy 10-yard gain. We didn't change much of our blocking. Here's one. We're actually going to hand this ball off. And we're going to run a reverse. Look at the backside. If you look at number 96 right here, or I think it's 96, this defensive end, he's really chasing to pursue the wide zone. And so we're able to keep the defense honest and get a decent gain on a reverse. one more clip here. I love these reverses in the goal line because everybody's keyed up for run. Let's flip it out there and keep the defense honest. All right. Oh, I told you I ran it out empty. We ran it out empty this year. This is actually for you option guys, a load option. We're going to wide zone block this and lock it on the backside. I told the quarterback if he gets outside, we have the option to pitch it, but he's going to read this defensive end for his cutback. They flow hard to the football, and we get a big cutback for about 10 yards. So I told you I've run wide zone out of every set, and so I have. That's my presentation today, and appreciate you guys having me.
Well, thanks, Brian. And we do have a couple questions. We can use this kind of time in between sessions to answer them. First one, Lee Aldridge asked this a couple times. He asked, what other schemes do you run in your offense to go along with the wide zone?
Good question. It varies from year to year. We've had a lot of success with counter because you're playing games with that backside defensive end. If he's trying to pursue hard and he's being left alone a bunch, right? We can run GY counter or GT counter. We've had some success with that. We've also been an inside zone team. Well, my goal is I've been that guy who's carried 5 or 6 run concepts. And after talking to NFL coordinators and college coordinators and high school coordinators who are doing a good job, I found out that teams that are consistently at the top of their league only run 2 or 3 concepts. So we try to limit ourselves in that. We try to have 2 or 3 run concepts that we're going to try to hang our hat on, and wide zone is really that number one play for us.
That's awesome. We had a couple others throughout. I tried to find a way to interrupt you to get those in there, but if you could put your email address in the chat.
Yeah.
I think a couple guys asking for correct spelling.
Yeah.
And
can I share my screen with my contact information on it? Would that be all right?
Do that really quick.
Okay. Let me do that. Let me exit out of here. And get back up to this front. Yeah, feel free if you guys want to Zoom and talk more about this. I know I did broad strokes of this play. I can get into the nuts and bolts. That's a double underscore on the Twitter account, Randall.Davis@Fayar.net. And 479-249-0275 is my cell phone. Feel free to reach out.
Awesome. Great job, Coach. Really appreciate it. We're going to take a quick break. I'm going to share my screen and give you guys a little bit of information on both Sideline Power and Coach's Insider, and then we're going to keep it rolling here with Keith starting at the top of the hour. So